Hey guys, I'm Chase Brogan. Today in this video we are diving into a 500 gigabyte plug and play Batocera hard drive that I found on AliExpress. Now this offers over 13,000 plug and play games on here. It's an external hard drive that plugs into a computer of your choosing in order for you to launch these games. Now this offers Wii, Wii U, and 64 Dreamcast, and even PS1 all the way through PS3, and so much more. So we're going to dive into this, we're going to fire it up, we're going to tour through everything it has to offer, we'll test it out. Let's dive into it. All right, guys, here we are booted up into this 500 gigabyte plug and play Batocera hard drive today. We are currently hovering over the all games list, which is going to be your master list. And this advertised over 13,000 total games on here. And if you take a look at the bottom right corner, it says there's 14,778 games on here. So way over what they're advertising. So that's impressive. Usually that's not the case. We're going to dive into the all games list so we can check out the layout within. So we've got a text list over here in alphabetical order on the left-hand side. And then we also get a screenshot for each of the titles. So in a perfect world, I'd love to see a video preview, but because we're at 500 gigabytes here, we are limited as to what the storage capacity is on here. So I'm sure they're able to fit a lot more on here without having those videos. So looks pretty good so far. We have a lot of 2-in-1 games here, which looks like it's probably for Game Boy Advance. Yeah, there we go. GBA at the in parentheses at the end of those titles. There were a lot of those 2-in-1 games. I'm not a big fan of having those on here just because it just pads the numbers, right? So every single one of those on here is 2 games, which is good, but we also have those independent of each other as well. Plus, Finding Nemo's in here. How many times? We got 2 Finding Nemos right there. I guarantee they're in here by themselves, but let's not get sidetracked. Let's back out of this. We're going to go through each of these collections on here. That was our master list, though. You can see very easy to navigate. We have our favorites collection, which hopefully is empty. It is. So you can custom set this up yourself. So if you want to go in here, like, for example, next collection is MAME with 1,908 games. We're going to jump in here. Let's say that you're a big fan of 2-on-2 Open Ice Challenge, like I am. All you have to do in order to add this to your favorites is you're simply going to hold down your button like this, which is the A button, and then just simply go over to add to favorites, and this game will now get added over into your favorites. You see we have a little star on here, but if we go up to favorites, there it is, just for easy access. So I'm holding down the A button on my Xbox style controller in order to open up that window where we can add it to our favorites. But let's go back into MAME. Huge fan of classic arcade, so I'm interested to see what we have inside here. 2-on-2 Open Ice Challenge is great, but what else do we have? We have Afterburner 1 and 2. I mean, so many great games on here, and with almost 2,000 total games in this collection, I would imagine we have a little bit of everything. We've got Alien 3 The Gun, which I love. I like that we have the little icon there, symbolizing that, of course, this is a light gun game. We'll keep it moving, though. I keep going over, when I use my D-pad, I keep hitting the D-pad right and going over to the next collection, which you can do by hitting D-pad right or left. You can go over to those other collections without going back out to this window. But I want to stay in MAME for right now. Now, another thing we can do, because I'm so familiar with Batocera, we can hit select on our controller. It opens up our options. And now we can go down to the jump to, and we can move this over to a different letter. So for example, if I want to see if WrestleFest is on here or any of the WWF titles, I'll go to W, I'll confirm it with my A button. It brings us right down here. Oh, interesting. Not all of this is scraped. There are a few titles here, like Wacko, that does not have the scraped images on here. But I want to go down, and I want to see if we have WWF titles. So we'll hold this down. I should have gone to the next letter, but that's all right. Yeah, we got WrestleFest. Sweet. We have Superstars. We have WrestleMania. We even have X-Men down here. What else can we search for? I always do the same games just to kind of see if they're all included in here. But let's go up here and let's see if we have, we'll go back to the jump to, and let's see if we have Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, which is one of my favorite arcade games. So here we are inside M, and I would imagine it's MI for Michael Jackson. Sometimes they just put it as Moonwalker though. So let's go up. There it is right there. Perfect. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Excellent. And it looks like so many great games on here. I don't want to spend too much time combing through all of this. There's still a lot of collections to dive into, but it seems pretty complete, especially at just under 2,000 total games in this collection. So we'll go down. Next one is Atari ST with 2,135 games. We'll take a quick peek inside here. Pretty basic, but if you're an ST fan, it looks like it's going to have all your favorite games inside here. We'll back out. Next is Atari Lynx with 75 games. We've got Commodore 64 with 2,618 games. We've got original Xbox with 6 games. I'm interested to see what 6 games are on here. And now this is going to be a collection that plays well as long as you go ahead and you connect it to the right PC. If you're using, a basic PC that doesn't have, too much to offer in terms of power and performance capabilities, then this is going to be one of those collections that falls flat for you. But interesting, we have Burnout, we have Capcom vs. SNK 2, we have Fable, The Lost Chapters, we have Forza Motorsport, which is a great game, one of my favorites. We have Grabbed by the Ghoulies. I've seen this game, I've actually owned this game, I don't think I've ever played this game. And then we have the original Halo, Halo Combat Evolved, which is probably the best original Xbox game ever made. I can confidently say it's the best one. So interested to see how this is going to perform on here and if it automatically launches or if you have to set up the emulator yourself, because that is an issue with plug and plays. We will dive into this collection a little bit later after we comb through everything else on here, and I'll let you guys know if it actually works or not. I do have a beefed up PC that we're demoing this on today, so shouldn't be a problem spec wise. We have PC Engine here with just 2 games. Interesting that there's only 2, and I believe those are games that those games actually may come with Batocera when you freshly install it. So not too much to offer there. We have NES over here with 1,166 games, and I would imagine we're going to have all of our favorite titles, right? We have Zelda, I see that. We have some Yoshi titles here. We have some WWF titles here. Do we have our Super Mario titles, though? I mean, that's what everybody really wants to know, right? Let's take a look. Let's see if we've got any of the Super Mario Brothers, and we do. We have, looks like all of them. Sweet. All right, we're going to back out. We have Game Boy here next with 859 games. This is original Game Boy. We have Super Nintendo with 2,106 games. That is a massive collection. Now, we do have duplicates in here. And I know duplicates is something that people get, I drive people crazy with, but when I say duplicates, I mean we have 2 different versions of the same game. We have the European version and the US version. In this case, we have the Japanese version and the US version. If you want both versions, you're in luck. I could care less. I just want one version of each game. I don't like when they pad the numbers with different versions like that. To me, it just doesn't make sense. Like ActRaiser here, we have 3 or 4 different versions. Look. We have this one up here, so that's 1. We have 2, 3, 4 different versions of the same game. Addams Family Values, 2 versions. And it looks like we're seeing a lot of duplicates here, where Arrow the Acrobat 2 is in here twice. The original is in here twice. So like every 2 or 3 titles, it looks like they're in here twice. Alien 3, 1, 2, 3 different versions. Alien vs. Predator, 2 versions. Excuse me, 3 versions here. So it's a little excessive in my opinion. There's going to be people that argue with me on this, but I just don't think that we need that many versions of a title. Here we have N64, 308 games total on this collection. So here we are in N64, and it's much cleaner than Super Nintendo. Not sure that there's no duplicates in this collection, but let's see. It looks pretty good so far. We've got California Speed, which is one of my favorites. Let's see if we've got the Cruisin' games in here. Cruisin', Exotica, USA, and World. Perfect. We have all 3 of those as well. Now, Diddy Kong Racing is in here twice. So that might be one of those cases where they're doing the Japanese version and the USA version. I don't know. Let's go to our Jump to. Let's see what we have for Mario games. So we'll just go right over to M. We'll confirm that. We have some Madden in here. There we go. So we've got all the Mario games. We've got Mario Golf, Mario Kart 64, Mario Party 1 through 3, Mario Tennis, and then we jump into Mega Man and so on. Now, Ultimate Test here. We have NFL, we have NBA. Very cool. Saw Blitz in there. Do we have Tony Hawk Pro Skater in here? We do. We have Pro Skater 1 through 3, which is great. This seems very complete so far. It doesn't have every single N64 game, but it seems to have all the main favorites, I would say. For WCW, we have Backstage Assault, we have Mayhem Nitro, World Tour Revenge. Excellent. So it looks like we have, yeah, we have Mayhem. Perfect. So we have all those. Now for WWF, we've got all of those as well. We got Warzone, WrestleMania, No Mercy, and Attitude. So seems like a great selection of N64 games. We'll jump into this a little bit later once we comb through everything else. So we've got Game Boy Color here with 596 total games. We've got GameCube with just 10, but let's see what 10 games we have on here. Metroid Prime 2, NCAA Football 2004. We've got Resident Evil and Resident Evil 4. These are 2-disc games, so it shows up in there as, disc 1, disc 2, disc 1, disc 2. SSX3, we got Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, and we have Beautiful Joe. Interesting selection here. I mean, I like the Metroid games, I like the Resident Evil games, and Zelda too, of course, but I would love to see more GameCube titles, especially since GameCube emulation isn't as demanding as something like Xbox. So let's back out. We have Game Boy Advance over here with 1,133 games. And I guess we should take a look at that since we were looking at all those 2-in-1s before. There we go. Tons of game packs in here. So that's just another way of padding the numbers because you get all these bundled games like this. I mean, and there's a lot. We even have 4 in here. But then we also have all those games by themselves as well. So like, for example, we saw Finding Nemo before in here a couple times to say the least. Let's go over here to F, and I guarantee we have it by itself as well. There we go. So we've got both Finding Nemo games by themselves. So again, it's just another way to, if you have like a 4-in-1 game, you have all those games individually, but then you have them bundled as well. It just gets so repetitive after a while. So we're going to back out. I also see there's some duplicates mixed in here as well, but that's all right. We have Nintendo DS next with 32 games. We'll take a look at DS. I personally am not a big DS guy when it comes down to emulation, but it'll at least give you guys a look at what this actually offers. And I apologize for switching it up like this. I'm just obviously not hitting my D-pad or analog stick well today. Mario Hoops 3-on-3, Mario DS, Mario Kart DS, Mario Party DS. I mean, there's a lot of Mario and Pokemon and Metroid in here. It's a sweet selection for DS. I'm actually really impressed by this. Again, it's not something that I emulate, but I do like the DS. And I know there's a lot of people that do emulate this. So great selection for DS. I'm really actually quite impressed by that. Usually it's a little lackluster to say the least. Next we have the original Wii, and then it looks like Wii U coming up. So let's take a look at Wii here. If we jump in here, how many titles was this? 9 titles. We've got The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. We got Metroid Prime Trilogy, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, New Super Mario Brothers. We've got Resident Evil 4, the Wii Edition, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. We have Super Smash Bros. Brawl and World of Zoo. Pretty solid games here. And these are games that you can play with a controller. You don't have to have the full Wii setup with the sensor bar, the nunchucks, and Wii Remote and all that stuff. So you can play these with a controller very easily. So good selection there. We have Nintendo 3DS with 11 games. We'll see what 11 games are on here. We have Fire Emblem Awakening. We have some Zelda titles here. We have Mario Kart 7. We have Metroid. Murder on the Titanic, all right. Not familiar with that one. We have Super Mario 3D Land, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. We have The Legend of Legacy, and we have another Zelda title down here at the bottom. So good selection once again. Backing out, we have Wii U in here next with 5 games. We have Bayonetta, we have Pikmin 3, we have Rayman Legends, we have Super Mario 3D World, and we have Super Mario Maker. Great games here. I'd love to see tennis in here, but hey, this is still a great selection. And what I'm getting from this drive so far is this is a great starter drive. This is a great way to get all your collections in a Batocera setup, but maybe from here you go ahead and you copy this over to a larger capacity drive and you build upon it, because as good of an offering as there is collection by collection, there's still a lot missing here. And that's due to the 500 gigabyte capacity, which is fairly limited, especially for these more demanding titles that take up a lot more space. Backing out, wow, we have Nintendo Switch on here. 7 Switch games. Let's see what Switch games are here. We have Celeste, we have Hollow Knight, we have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, we have Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Wow, okay. Super Mario Odyssey, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So this is actually a pretty solid selection for Switch. I'm impressed by that. When I saw Celeste, I was like, we're not starting off great here. Nothing against Celeste or Hollow Knight, but you can find those just about anywhere. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and so on, those are all really great Switch titles. So we're backing out. 3DO next with 19 games. Very easy to navigate. We have ports in here, and we have Doom, Mr. Boom, OD Commander, and SDL Pop. So these are just your typical ports that come with Batocera, but they left them in there, which is good. We have Sega Genesis, 946 games inside here. Pretty straightforward. We have Mega Drive with just one game, Old Towers, and that comes with a fresh install of Batocera. So yeah, I probably personally would have gone in here and cleaned those out, because having just one title in here and it being, you know, one that comes with Batocera doesn't make much sense. We have Game Gear over here with 335 games. We have Sega Saturn with 25 games. Take a look at Saturn. We have Bug to start it all off, Command and Conquer. No Die Hard. Love Die Hard Arcade. We have Sonic Jam, though. We have some Street Fighter in here. We have some Virtua Cop in here, Tomb Raider, Virtua Fighter, X-Men at the bottom. So still decent collection. Love to expand upon it, though. We have Mega Drive 32X with 35 games, so that looks like it has just about everything. We've got the amazing Spider-Man up there at the top, Afterburner at the top, Doom, FIFA, Soccer 96, which is a good one. Metalhead, Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam Tournament Edition. We got some NFL games in here. We have Primal Rage in here, Star Trek in here, Star Wars Arcade, Virtua Fighter, Virtual Racing Deluxe, some WWF Raw, and WrestleMania to finish it off. So we also have, interesting, Model 3 from Sega. I love Sega Model 3. That's where you're going to have your Star Wars game. Whoops, went too far down. So let's see if we have the Star Wars arcade game in here. I don't see it. That's too bad. We have Daytona USA, Battle on the Edge. We have Daytona USA Power Edition. We have the Harley Davidson LA Riders game. We have LA Machine Guns, Scud Race, Sega Rally 2, Sega Rally DX, Ski Champ, which is a lot of fun, Spike Out, both Spike Outs, and Virtua Striker 2. Would love to see Star Wars on here, especially since it's not that demanding. It would play, if you're playing Xbox original games, I mean, Star Wars is going to perform perfect on here. So love to see Star Wars added in, but this is, again, where you can make this your own by adding your own favorites into the mix. So backing out, we have Dreamcast next with just 14 games. That seems a little lackluster for Dreamcast. Let's see what we have, though. Cannon Spike, which is good. Crazy Taxi 2, Dead or Alive 2, Fighting Vipers, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Rayman 2, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, Sega GT, Sega Rally 2, Sonic Adventure Street Fighter Alpha 3, The House of the Dead 2, The King of Fighters 99 Evolution, and Virtua Tennis. Well, I'm a huge Virtua Tennis fan here, but there's still a lot of missing titles here that I think should be added in. Very hard to limit Dreamcast, you know, down to just 14 titles. Now let's take a look at Naomi here. Weird. Second Naomi has 77, but Dreamcast got shorted. I don't know if I agree with that. So Asian Dynamite here. Okay. I mean, this is probably the biggest Sega Naomi collection I've ever seen. Usually we don't have that many titles. And there are some good ones like Giant Graham 2000 and All Japan Pro Wrestling 2 are great games. The Guilty Gear titles are great. Now I wonder if we have WWF Royal Rumble. We have Power Stone 1 and 2. So there is a lot of crossover between this collection and Dreamcast normally. Usually what drive makers and game console makers do is they'll limit the Sega Naomi collection and make the Dreamcast collection a little bit more robust. It looks like they did the opposite here, but still, I'm happy to have these games, don't get me wrong. Toy Fighter's cool. Virtua NBA is a great game, super underrated in my opinion. We have Virtua Tennis 2 over here. We have WWF Royal Rumble as well, and then Zombie Revenge, which is a cool game. So really a great Sega Naomi collection. Wish Dreamcast was a little bit bigger. We have Naomi 2 as well with 12 titles. Let's see what's in here. Beach Spikers is a cool game. Club Kart's a cool game that you don't usually see on a lot of these plug and plays. Soul Surfer. Wow, there's some really cool stuff here. I'm impressed. We have the King of Route 66, Virtua Fighter 4, Evolution as well, and Final Tuned. We have Virtua Striker 3 and Wild Riders. So I really like this collection. Sega Naomi 2 is usually a very small collection on a lot of plug and plays and plug and play game consoles. So it's cool to see this expanded upon. Again, still I can't get over Dreamcast being so small though. Neo Geo, 140 games. That's typical for Neo Geo. So this is where you're going to find your Metal Slugs. 2020 Super Baseball is cool. But we can just go to the Jump 2, make sure that the Metal Slugs are here. But this is where they would be, and that game count is accurate for this collection. So there you go. We've got Metal Slug 3, Metal Slug X. Should be some more Metal Slug in here. Interesting. Okay, glad we checked. PlayStation. Original PlayStation, just 61 games. Usually, I mean, PlayStation doesn't take up a ton of space, so usually we have a much broader collection there as well. So we have Crash Team Racing, we have all the Crash Bandicoot titles, we have Final Fantasy titles in here, Gran Turismo in here, Legacy of Kain, we have some Madden, we have some Need for Speed, some NHL, some Oddworld, Resident Evil's in here, Spyro, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Not bad. I mean, it's a pretty streamlined collection, though. We'll back out. We have PS2 next with 19 games. That's a solid offering. Starts off with Bully. Bully's a cool game. Devil May Cry is great as well. We got God of War. We got Madden. We got NBA Street version 3, which is the best version. We have Resident Evil in here, SSX 3. We have Silent Hill 2. Shadow of Colossus is a good game. We have Silent Hill. Tekken 5, Virtua Fighter. Yeah, I mean, it's a decent collection for PS2. There's still a lot of missing titles there to have it be what I think it should be. Next one down, we jumped a little early to. It's PSP. PSP has how many games? 69 games. Okay. We start out with Burnout. We've got some Dragon Ball Z, some FIFA in here. We've got some Final Fantasy, some God of War. Decent collection. We got some Metal Slug in here. We have some MLB. Okay. Do we have Ridge Racer in here? My favorite game for this? We do. Excellent. Ridge Racer right there. All right. We have some Tekken in here as well. Some Virtua Tennis in here. WWE All-Stars, X-Men Legends 2. All right. Next is PS3 with 11 games. Let's see what we have. We have Batman Arkham Asylum. Very nice. BioShock 2. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Grand Theft Auto 4, the Complete Edition. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. We have Mass Effect 2. We have Metal Gear Solid, Ratchet & Clank, Street Fighter, Uncharted 2 and 3. All right, that's a pretty impressive offering for PS3. I'm a fan of it. And these are not typical for plug and plays. I like the fact that this offering on this collection by collection is very different than other plug and plays out there on the market. It's not just another ROM dump. It looks like it doesn't necessarily align with my personal taste, but it is different than what we typically see. Now we have PS Vita in here. Now PS Vita is another one that we don't typically see in plug and plays. So we have 9 games. Let's see what's in here. Age of Zombies. We have Mortal Kombat here. So I'm not as familiar with these titles, but hey, the collection is present. That's a win. And then we're back to our all games list. So that is the entire thing here. That is the entire tour of what this has to offer. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to dive into this. We are going to test out a bunch of different games for a bunch of different collections. And we're going to make sure that everything works the way it's meant to.
Ready? Go! KO! KO! Fight 2! Ready? Go! KO! Over here! Please!
You're gonna be fine. Stay here.
Batman's here! Just hold on a little longer, Steve! I can't! I'm gonna fall!
I'm going after the animal who did this.
Batman! The extraction system! Steve was trying to get to the control panel at the end of the room!
I can't believe he left me here! That son of...
Alright guys, we jumped into this plug-and-play Batocera game drive right here that advertises over 13,000 games. Upon firing this up, we found out that it had just under 15,000 games, which was a nice, pleasant surprise. Now, I think they scaled back that game count because they know that there's a lot of duplicates in here. And honestly, that Super Nintendo collection had a whole lot of duplicates. Not a deal breaker though, just worth mentioning. So really impressed to find more games than what's advertised. That rarely happens here, and the price point on this is insane. Stick around to see what that price point is though. We're going to talk a little bit more about what the performance was like. But before we do, make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. Now, upon firing this up, as soon as I saw Xbox, I figured Xbox wasn't going to work. And the reason for that is 9 times out of 10, the Xbox emulator on plug-and-play game drives or plug-and-play game consoles isn't fully set up. The games are added in there, the ROMs are ready to go, but the emulator needs to be set up by the user. That was not the case here, and I was pleasantly surprised to find that. All I had to do was literally click on or hit the button on my controller to launch the game that I wanted, and it fired up just like that. So I was really pleasantly surprised by that, and literally every collection that I jumped into games for was exactly the same way. You click on or you launch the game that you want to play, and it loads right up. I had no issues with any games here. Performance was very good. Keep in mind I was using a gaming PC, which is more than capable of emulating everything that this has to offer. But still, all the games ran perfectly. I had a great experience with this. Now, in terms of what's offered here, it's 500 gigabytes. That being said, it's very limited in capacity, especially when talking about these more demanding games that take up a lot more space. We're not talking about Super Nintendo, which games take up, the tiniest bit of space on here, but PS3 games can take up several gigabytes. So you very quickly chip away at that 500 gigabyte capacity, and that's why we had a limited offering for the majority of these higher end collections. Dreamcast only had a handful of titles, PS2 only had a handful of titles, Xbox, Wii U, Wii, etc. Now, if all the games offered in these collections lines up with your personal taste and what you're looking for, then that's awesome. That's a home run. For me, it was missing a lot of my favorite titles. GameCube, for example, Mario Strikers has to be there. Mario Kart Double Dash has to be there. PS3, Ridge Racer has to be there. So what I would do with something like this is I would honestly get this because it's a great price point, and I'll tell you that price point at the time of this recording, it's just 38 bucks. Now this is on AliExpress, takes a little bit of time to get here, but 38 bucks is 38 bucks. That's pretty damn cheap. So what I would do is I would get this, and I would flash it, copy it onto a 1 terabyte hard drive or SSD, whatever I want to do, and then I would expand upon it from there. The Batocera collection's already set up, the emulators are already set up on here, so all you would have to do at that point once you copy it over is you would have to just add more ROMs onto it. So I could drop in Mario Kart Double Dash, Mario Strikers into GameCube, Ridge Racer into PS3, and I could make it my own by expanding upon it. And with that 1 terabyte option, I would have 500 gigabytes of free space that I can add my favorite games on here and really make this that much better. So I think this is a great price point here. If it aligns with what you're looking for, then great. But if you want to use this as a stepping stone to build up to that better setup, that's a great option too, and that's what I would personally do. So 38 bucks at the time of this recording, $38.03 to be exact. I think it's a home run. Everything works great. Check it out. Let me know what you guys think though in the comments of this video. I'll provide you guys with a direct link over to AliExpress in the description as well. So thank you guys so much for your time. Let me know what you guys thought. Be sure to hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up on this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.